All right, so I guess we'll call the meeting, the September 19th, 2019 meeting to order. We're in a different room this time. We're trying some new stuff with the new building. We don't have a flag in here, so I guess we're going to skip the pledge this time. Next item would be approval of minutes. Fred was unable to make it, so since it was only me and Fred here last time, we don't have a quorum to approve the minutes. So that one's done too. Old business. Well, first is Ernie Wilson's our new commissioner. Welcome, Ernie. Appreciate it. Welcome to the
Thank you.
show, I guess.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and everything like that? Because we don't know too much about you.
Well, I started law enforcement in 1957,
Mm-hmm.
and I retired from the state in 1970, and went to work for Batesville Casket, covering Southern Illinois in 1980. Wait a minute, that's when I quit. You know what?
Uh-huh.
And then I joined the police department in New Mexico,
We're at New Mexico.
Rio Rancho.
Oh, okay. I've got a friend. I think he's on Rio Rancho PD. He when we got out of the service, he stayed in New Mexico. I was stationed at Kirtland Air Force Base there in New Mexico.
Oh, you were?
And he got on the New Mexico State Police.
Yeah.
And he got off there and he got on Rio Rancho PD.
Yeah. And then I retired off that in 2002. Then I went to work for the Justice Department in Jordan in 2004. I was over in Amman, Jordan for about a year. And then I came back here and I've been retired ever since.
Well, thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, speaking as a commissioner, I'm looking forward to having your experience and input, right? So, because I don't have any law enforcement experience. So.
You might be better.
The next item on the agenda is hiring update for the chief. We're currently advertising that on Facebook, our website, several other publications that the HR firms reached out to. Candidates are directed to submit a complete job application, a cover letter, resume, and contact information for 5 personal references by October 7th, 2019 to consultant Kim McKenzie. And you can get her email address by either looking on the website or contacting myself or Amanda, and we'll get you the info you need. So that's currently ongoing. We're receiving those applications and resumes, and HR firms doing their thing, racking and stacking them for us. So, Kevin, what do you got for us?
You want the whole spiel?
Well, we'll start with the hiring.
Well, unfortunately, we started out with Officer Overmeyer. He called me, I believe it was Tuesday evening. It was after the town council meeting, and said that he has chose to resign from the department. He cited personal issues as the reason. He came in the next day, gave me a formal resignation letter, dropped off all his stuff and everything like that. As far as the new hire process, Amanda can tell you more about. This was, well, I'll just let you go, Amanda. Go ahead.
We have 7 applicants that do not have the academy. Their next step is the background check, which we're going to talk to Chad because he's extremely busy right now.
Right.
About having 1 or 2 officers help him complete the backgrounds and get them done. Almost everything is done other than the home interview.
Gotcha.
So that would be what's left. Also, they were talking about hiring him, Mr. Vaughn here. Mark Harris left March 25th, and Danny, Chief Allen, went before the town board on April 2nd and asked for permission to hire his replacement.
Right.
Then on the 18th of April, he asked the police commission to expedite it.
Right.
Nothing was done after that.
Right.
So we do have a conditional offer that was signed by Mr. Vaughn and Lieutenant Julian here, and that was given on September 9th.
So to make that official, we need to approve it as well, right? So I would make the motion. We give Julian the authority to hire this guy, so we can get him to work.
I agree.
All right.
I agreed last month.
just to dot the i's and cross the t's there.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on board.
No, thank you.
We're looking forward to working with you.
I think Kyle's going to be a good fit. I really do. I enjoyed his interview. I can't talk for Lieutenant Rogers, but he was there present at the interview. And
I think you'll make a great fit.
Good. Sounds great. You said you came from Southport, right?
Yes, sir.
Right on.
Close to Long's Bakery.
Our new police department's directly behind it. You can smell it about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a joke there somewhere.
Did you have anything else as far as the new hires? I know she contacted all of them, and they all voiced they're still interested in being in the process.
Gotcha.
We do currently have Levi Martin and Eric Leap at the academy. They just completed the first week. I know Levi was here earlier. I think he took off again, didn't he? Or, but he stopped by and he said everything's thumbs up with him and everything like that.
Good.
Cars was next on the business. You were present Tuesday night. We got 4 cars. And I think there is an extreme good possibility, because I actually spoke to Councilman Rogers today. He says it's just finding the money, but he says it's probably gonna be a done deal. We'll get our 5th car. It's just when we will get that 5th
Right.
car. And of course, they've approved all the equipment for the cars also. So we've been going to go ahead, get the purchase order started, and Lieutenant Rogers can start obtaining his equipment for the vehicles and everything.
Right on.
A little bit, I know on your agenda is a little bit about the critical incidents, stuff like that. We had the stabbing on the 4th, we had the fatality fire on the 9th, and then we had the Man Road death investigation on the 13th, which our agency was involved on all 3 of those. Granted, the death investigation was a Morgan County case, but as Chad and Matt are members of the Major Crimes Task Force, they requested and they graciously went out there and assisted, since they helped us on the fatality fires. I think all the information, and I noticed that you have posted about it too, Morgan County has identified the gentleman that was killed out there, and that's about any new information they have about that.
Okay.
And as far as the fire, it's still under investigation.
Gotcha.
Stats, I know I talked about this earlier. I've given those to all of town board members and the commissioners, and I sent it to all the officers and everything like that. Did you want me to go through that real quickly?
If you don't mind.
Okay. Let's go with the July stats first. Training hours, I'll start out with that. Well, overtime was 81 hours, comp time 58.5, and this is the total for the whole police department. 58.5 hours. Mileage was 18,865 miles. We did 247 incident reports, 65 arrests, 69 citations, 315 warnings, 2,062 CAD calls, 28 accident reports, 24 of those were PDs, 2 of them were personal injuries, 2 hit and runs, and 0 fatalities. And then I will quickly run through August. August was 254 incident reports, 52 arrests, 90 citations, 323 warnings, 1,760 CAD calls, accident reports 34, 31 of those were PDs, 3 of those were personal injury, and 0 hit and runs, 0 fatalities. Overtime was 187.5 hours, comp time 131.5 hours, mileage 22,546 miles.
Sounds like you guys have been busy.
Yes, they have. Let's see, what was next here on, where's my little paper, what to do with it right there, thank you. I think we touched a little bit on this, filling Danny's position, or the retired chief Allen's position. I think that's kind of, I don't, you discussed that a little bit on a telephone conversation about, I guess, once it's available, you will be able to go ahead and hire a chief as far as the money wise, is that correct?
That was my understanding when I talked to Brad about it. He'd gotten with the clerk's office and with Danny and Brad's vacation time and all that stuff. We got to keep an eye on how much money we've got in there, and I don't know if Obermeyer even changes that at all. But
it probably makes it a little bit more available,
right?
Because I know with Captain Yarnell's position, he's pretty much on terminal leave till like the 1st of January, so we can't fill it, but like what we'd like to do is get this application process going, so we've got a list ready. Whenever we're able to, we can just, at least, even if it's one at a time, we can get these guys going.
Correct.
And the sooner we get a name and we've got a slot, we can get them into the academy.
Right. So I think we're good there. Probably mid-November, I think, was the time frame Brad had stressed to me, which is
he's leaving after January.
well. Is when the money would be available. Like we would, if we hire somebody at that point, there would be enough money in the budget to pay the chief.
Okay.
Is what I was told.
That'd be a Debbie call too.
Right. That's I think who you talked to over the clerk's office.
Now Captain Yarnell is still coming around. He's helping out. He's on call with me and Amanda as far as we have any little issues, especially technical and building related. He knows all those contacts, so he's been helping out with that.
Excellent.
Amanda would like to start trying to get some part-time dispatchers. I'll let you go with that.
We have 4 full-time dispatchers and 5 part-time dispatchers, and 5 part-time include me. we've had 2 major incidents, and there's nobody down there to assist them. I would personally like to see 4 more full-time people, 2 for every shift. That's a money issue, and I know we're not gonna get that. But we need more part-time people, so there is somebody there. On the evening shift is our busiest shift. If Steve gets busy, I can run downstairs. But we need more people. The town board has told prior chiefs that they don't need approval for part-time because there's no benefits, no nothing like that.
Right.
So we can just do it.
Well, obviously, we're gonna have to take it into the budget and see what we got.
We've got $33,000 in our part-time dispatch money. Last year at this time, we were like $6,000.
They have their own separate budget and everything
I
like
got you.
that, so they're,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just using
got
that
the
part-time
money.
money till it exhausts, and then we just can't use it anymore for the rest of the year,
Yeah.
till the next,
And we've got plenty of
year.
it, so.
Okay.
And it'll take, I mean, it'll be just like hiring an officer. We're gonna have to put out there that we're hiring, take applications. They do the background checks on them too.
Mhm.
Right, so that's also a long process. I
Yeah.
got you. That was gonna be my next question. Do we have people that, used to be part-time that we can bring back in, or?
I know you're
No.
looking at one individual who has voiced
Yeah, we've got
interest.
one individual that works in Morgan County right now, that she's expressed interest.
So then they would be working part-time in both kind of thing?
Yeah, she works full-time at Morgan County, she would work part-time here.
Mm.
We could get her right through.
She knows the system, she knows how it works. We
Yeah.
operate off the same CAD system. I don't know, maybe a little bit different version, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Ernie, thoughts?
That
It's-
that is where it all starts. Just makes the If you don't have that covered, you don't have anything covered.
So yeah, I mean, I would say let's go ahead and start vetting those candidates, and then
Okay.
we'll see where we're at next month. That'll give us time to look at the numbers too and make sure everything's gonna be there. With everything else going on, I don't know if money's getting moved around or any of that
The
stuff.
budget, because I've gotten
Right.
it was like a couple days ago, I got the most current budget from Debbie. Everything's looking fine. There's money that's not even been touched, and granted, some of that money, I'm still learning what we can use it and cannot use it for,
Right.
but there's money there for especially part-time dispatchers. That's not a question.
Okay,
I mean, another option until we get them hired is have our full-timers cover the
Right.
evening shift if they wanna come in and work overtime to cover. Because that, from 3 to 11, I mean, the minute that evening shift dispatcher comes in, they're getting slammed. I mean, the house fire was at 3:30.
right.
And even if they're covering overtime for maybe 4 hours until it dies down, that's fine too. Granted, the overtime budget will eat out of that quicker than part-time.
But I did talk to.
Because that comes out of our same overtime budget we
Yes.
use for our
And I-
officers? or-
Because it came out of the
Yeah,
same
and
overtime
I did
budget.
talk to Debbie, and we can move money from the part-time dispatch budget to the overtime if needed.
Well, I mean, we can certainly, and you guys don't need our approval to do that. right?
No.
Yeah.
And I know that our overtime budget really has got ate up the last couple of weeks, but it is what it is. If it's needed, it's needed.
It's needed, right?
Yeah.
So,
Um,
that's certainly a short-term fix when you need it.
The busiest times are from about 2:30 till about 7, when people are coming home
When
from
school lets out until
work.
after school, yeah.
These 3 incidents that we had, they were all in the afternoons.
Yeah,
Right now,
they were all
we
about 3
don't
o'clock,
have
weren't
any-
they?
Yes,
Instead of having them work till.
yes. I would love to have people that could just come in and stay till 7 or,
Yeah.
Mm.
work the busiest. But that, and it doesn't matter what day it is, even Sundays,
You just never know when something's gonna hit.
you don't.
Right.
And, I mean, Liz was a half an hour into her shift when she got the fatality fire.
Mhm.
And I think anybody in here knows the first 10 minutes of any major incident, you're busy, you're swamped. They're asking for a lot of things.
That's the most critical time, right?
Yes.
You good?
We're good?
Okay, next item is, we did a little roundtable discussion at our supervisors meeting about public information. Retired Chief Allen had kind of started a little process with Officer Chipman due to his link with Mooresville Times. He was doing some movie reviews and stuff like that. Nothing really got off the ground or anything like that, but I had him do a little project for me. And I've been looking at different press releases from different agencies, and it's something that we would like to start instituting. Just get that information out there so there's no speculation to help promote our agency. So if you guys want to pass these around, they're just, some of these are mock-ups, some of these are things that he has made for like road closures and stuff like that. This one I wasn't a big fan of, it's kind of busy. Even Officer Anderson gave me a couple of his. I should have those here because I seen them. What the heck did I do with them, Brian? Because I did have them. I swear I did. Oh, here we go. This is similar to one, just a couple little mock-ups of different press releases. If you guys want to look at them, he's did one on the fire and stuff like that. It's just something we'd like to institute to get that information out there, not have the speculation, but help promote the PD also.
It's been on my list too.
Excellent.
Actually, so Ernie, do you have a preference on anything you see there?
No,
And a lot of this stuff we can change around. This
Sure.
is just a starting point.
I'm definitely on board with we need to get our press releases out.
do we have a PIO?
No, not an official one. Normally our PIO is Detective Richard because usually if it's something major, he's the one investigating it and he does that stuff. The last incident, our major incident of the fire, of course, we asked Sheriff Myers to come down. That's his bailiwick. That's what he did for a living for however many years at the state police. So he assisted us with the PIO responsibilities at the fatality fire.
The feds have a free school,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks.
And I think Officer Anderson actually talked to me about that too.
That's
So
a good
we're
school.
all about taking advantage of free schools because I know we got a couple coming up and a couple officers have. I think we got one for arson investigation, which Officer McGain wants to try to go to that. I know Officer Hayden. There was I want to call it like a pre-screen to see if you have what it takes to be a negotiator, and so she's going to that. So and all those are free. So it's not taking anything out of our training budget except for the days that they're there. That's it.
Right.
I went to the one in Emmitsburg.
Oh, I've heard about that. Did you talk about that one? Was it Ellensburg? Is that?
I know that's one of.
I know Officer Anderson's been to some classes.
Greenwood has like an advanced class, but you're talking $500 or $600, but the free ones, free's usually better.
Thing about press releases is they don't need to have to be really pretty. It's just to get the information out, right? If we're gonna water,
This looks the best to me.
I was going to say, I kind of like the watermark, but I think we need to lighten it up just a little bit more.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd like to be more crisp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think, again, Officer Anderson's going to help me with the graphics part
Sure.
of it.
That's fine.
And maybe we can fine tune it and just show you what we've got next week. Again, this is the beginning stage.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think we got to start somewhere.
Well, and certainly using Facebook helps. Right?
I agree.
And you're right. It helps alleviate questions from the public or misinformation, things like that.
Anybody else like to look at these? Look at them at your leisure.
Thank you.
So yeah, moving toward press releases is a good idea. You don't need anything from us for that one either, right? Let's just.
The last thing I got on our list is field training officer. Our plans for Kyle here is, in the past, when we've had a lateral, we used to gauge a lot of how they do, is how long we keep them into the FTO status, and then we do an evaluation. What I want to do, in the past, we've had them ride with every single officer pretty much. There's pros and cons to that. I think a lot of us prefer the one officer per shift being the FTO because they can better know where he's at, where he's been, and where he's going, and what he needs to work on. And I think it's a better fit. So we're going to attempt to do that, where he's on with one officer per shift, and that will be their field training officer for that shift. And then, but we're going to cut the weeks down on different shifts. Like he's only going to do 2 on days, then he'll do 2 on nights. And then what we'll do is we'll put him on seconds because that's where you're going to get most of your training. And he will be on that shift until Sergeant Schultz and the FTO for that shift agree that he's released. And then he will ride 2 weeks with Lieutenant Rogers on days. 2 days, I'm sorry. And then he'll ride 2 days with Lieutenant Whitley on nights. And then I will go to second shift for 2 days and ride with him for 2 days. And then I think that would be an excellent evaluation guide to get him on the road.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay.
Ernie, thoughts? You got more
Sounds like a
experience
good
than I do.
Been well thought out.
Anybody else have questions or? That's all I have.
Charles, you still with us?
Yes, I am. Can everybody hear me?
Yep. You got anything,
Wonderful.
Charles?
Yes, I do.
All right.
First of all, I just wanted to mention that, of course, I've been working closely with the Police Commission and Amanda and our human resource firm in developing the new police chief job description and hiring process. And I have been very impressed with everybody's participation and involvement, and I feel really good as we go forward with this important process. That's the first comment that I wanted to make. And then the other one is I wanted to welcome our new police commissioner. I will certainly share with you my background in greater detail when I see you in person, but I've been a practicing attorney here in the state of Indiana for the last 42 years, focusing very much on police legal issues for that whole time. And I've also personally trained most of the police officers in Indiana, because for 29 years I was the attorney and law instructor for the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. And I certainly am looking forward to working with our new police commissioner. And in that regards, of course, the appointment process is quite specific for new police commissioners. And I just wanted to make sure that the required oath of office has been done, as well as the $5,000 bond from the town council. Has that process been done for our new commissioner at this point?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, it has. I did last Friday.
Okay, I had developed with the previous chief an updated oath of office, and Amanda, was that updated one used to your knowledge?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I sent it to him.
Okay, and was that also, we have that quirky requirement in our statute that it be filed with the circuit court clerk.
Yeah, he went down to Martinsville and got it done.
County clerk.
Okay, great. Well, I just wanted to make sure that that process has been complied with, and that would be the only additional matter that I have, other than saying I left my office at 4:15, hoping that I would certainly be at the meeting by 6 in person, but with the congestion and the accidents on the interstates, I made it as far as downtown Indy. That's where I am right now. So, but at least the cell phone process is, a recognized process for public meetings, and I at least happy that I was able to participate in this regards. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in, Charles. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry you got stuck in traffic.
Yes.
So that's it for old business. We already covered new business while we were doing that, right? Does anybody have anything else? Do questions, comments from anybody else in the room? No? You want to do the fun stuff, Ernie?
What's that?
The fun stuff.
Yeah.
I like doing the fun stuff. Officer Brian Anderson has been here forever, apparently.
I'll take pictures.
23 years as of April 1st, 1996. So if you want to come up here, we'll give you a certificate. Just thanking you basically for sticking with us for 23 years. We appreciate it, sir. Appreciate you coming in tonight. Here you go. They're going to make us pose too.
I'm gonna turn there just a little bit. There we go. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Brian. Appreciate that. And everything else you do, especially here lately. I'm sure you've been racking up some overtime. And naturally, we also have Lieutenant Randy Rogers, who's actually in his 20th year. We managed to get one while he's still in his 20th year. But on Halloween, it'll be 21 years. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that Halloween? Is there a joke there about you starting on Halloween?
Not that I know of.
Appreciate you, Randy. Especially everything you do. And I think I mentioned at the town council meeting, you do all the outfitting for our cars too.
Everybody ready?
Appreciate
Pretty
that.
much the whole career.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I appreciate you, man.
Might have to-
It's a long time.
Cut
It is.
down too. So.
It goes fast.
Does anybody have anything else?
I do not.
All right. Our next meeting is October 17th, 2019.
I will not be here.
Amanda will not be here. Ernie will not be here.
Do we have to have somebody here in your position, or?
No, you can just record it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your stuff? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know how to record it. You have to teach me how to work it.
Ernie, you want to adjourn?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Then let's do that. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Everybody have a good evening.
You too, Charles. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Don't make it home.
Thank you.